In the heart of West Africa, a story is unfolding that few could have predicted. A country once synonymous with struggle, conflict, and economic hardship is now daring to imagine a future so ambitious that it has left the world both astonished and skeptical. That country is Burkina Faso, and the vision at the center of this transformation is nothing less than a $3 trillion megacity project, a development plan so vast that it challenges the very limits of imagination. To understand the magnitude of this dream, one must first understand where Burkina Faso stands today. For decades, the nation has been described by statistics that speak of hardship. One of the lowest GDPs per capita in the world, high poverty rates, political instability, and security challenges that seem to suffocate progress before it could take root. For much of its modern history, Burkina Faso has been portrayed as a land defined by its challenges rather than its potential. Yet, within those same challenges lies a remarkable story of resilience, of people who have endured and adapted, of communities that have preserved their dignity and spirit despite enormous obstacles. At the heart of this shift in narrative is a young leader whose vision and courage have ignited both hope and controversy. His leadership has been marked not by conformity to global powers, but by defiance and independence. He has called for sovereignty in all things, political, economic, and cultural. And it is under this climate of renewed determination that the idea of a futuristic megacity has emerged. It is not just about buildings or roads. It is about rewriting the destiny of a nation and, by extension, an entire continent. When the project was first mentioned, many dismissed it as unrealistic. After all, how could a nation still struggling with basic infrastructure begin to imagine skyscrapers of glass and steel, smart roads illuminated by artificial intelligence, or renewable energy grids powering millions of homes? How could a country, with a GDP barely scratching the tens of billions, even contemplate a project valued at $3 trillion? The skepticism was natural, perhaps even necessary. But history has shown that what begins as a dream often becomes reality through vision, persistence, and boldness. Consider Dubai. Just a few decades ago, it was a modest desert city with little to distinguish it on the global stage. Today, it is a symbol of modernity, wealth, and global ambition. Consider Singapore, a tiny island nation once described as a backwater, now a hub of global finance and trade. Consider Saudi Arabia's NEOM project, a city that aims to fuse technology, sustainability, and futuristic architecture into a single living space for millions. These examples remind us that transformation is possible when ambition is matched by determination. And now, Burkina Faso is attempting to carve its name into that same history of transformation. The megacity project is envisioned as more than just a cluster of buildings. It is imagined as a living symbol of African ingenuity, self-reliance, and renewal. It is said that this city would include some of the most advanced architectural designs in the world. Futuristic skyscrapers reaching toward the sky, entire districts powered exclusively by renewable energy, transportation systems driven by artificial intelligence, green belts and solar farms spreading across vast areas to ensure sustainability, and digital infrastructure designed to connect not just people within Burkina Faso, but the country to the entire world. It is, in every sense, a city of the future. But beyond the glitter of glass towers and cutting-edge technology lies a deeper purpose. The project is not only about aesthetics or luxury, it is about economic transformation. A development of this scale could create millions of jobs, not only for engineers and architects, but for workers across all sectors: construction, technology, education, healthcare, agriculture, and tourism. It could inject life into industries that have long remained dormant and attract investors who previously saw Burkina Faso as too risky or too small a market. It could serve as a magnet for global partnerships, drawing in expertise, innovation, and capital. Equally important, the megacity is envisioned as a center for knowledge and creativity. Plans speak of universities designed to rival the best in the world, research centers focused on technology and medicine, and cultural hubs that showcase African heritage while embracing global diversity. The idea is to build not only physical infrastructure but also intellectual and cultural capital, the kind that can sustain development for generations to come. Yet, the audacity of this vision naturally provokes questions. Where will the funding come from? How will security challenges be addressed? What guarantees exist that such a massive project will not collapse under the weight of corruption, mismanagement, or external interference? These are not minor concerns. They are questions that have to be asked, and they are questions that demand serious answers. Still, the very act of posing such questions is itself a testament to how far the narrative has shifted. 10 years ago, few would have considered Burkina Faso a candidate for such a conversation. Today, the world is forced to ask whether this nation might indeed rise to achieve the impossible. The announcement of the mega-city project has therefore served two purposes. On one hand, it has challenged the imagination of Burkinabe citizens, inviting them to dream bigger than they have ever dared before. On the other hand, it has unsettled global observers, many of whom are reluctant to believe that a country long marginalized could leap so suddenly into the center of global ambition. For supporters, this skepticism is irrelevant. They argue that the future belongs to those who dare to imagine it, and Burkina Faso is finally daring. This moment is not only about the present, it is about history. For centuries, Africa's resources enriched foreign empires, while its people were told to remain patient, dependent, and small in their aspirations. Today, a new generation of leaders and citizens is beginning to reverse that narrative. The mega-city project is therefore not just an economic initiative. It is a declaration of sovereignty, a statement that Africa will no longer merely supply the world with raw materials, but will build its own centers of power, wealth, and knowledge. It is as much a political message as it is a developmental plan. This way, Burkina Faso's mega-city project becomes more than a story about one country. It becomes a symbol for the entire continent. It becomes a message to the world that Africa will no longer be underestimated, that its future will not be dictated by outsiders, and that its people are ready to claim their rightful place in the global order. And so, as the project begins to capture global attention, one thing is certain. Whether it succeeds or fails, it has already changed the conversation. Burkina Faso, a nation once overlooked, is now the center of a discussion about ambition, sovereignty, and the future of Africa.